This podcast may contain adult language, adult situations, spoilers, and some brief nudity, so parental guidance is suggested.
We have such sights to show you.
After about 5 minutes of this movie, you're gonna wish you had 10 beers.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Oh, well. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la, yeah.
Welcome back to the Cinema Recall Podcast. Hello and welcome to this bonus episode of the Cinema Recall Podcast. I am the Vern. Thank you so much for joining. This episode is the very first 15 minutes of a new episode and a new season of The Rotten Truth over at rabbitholepodcast.com. I introduced my new co-host, Donnie Roberts, who usually does the Donnie Choice episodes here on Cinema Recall, but he's my new co-host for The Rotten Truth. And for this episode, we are going to be reviewing the Gus Van Sant remake of Psycho. And we did do a lot of fun conversations with that. If you want the full episode, that will be available on rabbitholepodcast.com on August 14th. Right now it's available on their Patreon page, and I will post links to that episode. Anyways, hope you all enjoy this very much, and I will talk to you all soon. And be sure to stay after the episode to hear updates on what's coming up new for Cinema Recall. Love you all. Bye.
It's time to find out if the majority of film critics are really fresh, or are they just being rotten? Welcome to The Rotten Truth with your hosts, Donnie Roberts and the Vern.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode and somewhat a new season of The Rotten Truth over at Rabbit Hole Podcasts. I am the Vern, and I should let you all know before we introduce our new co-host here that the other co-host for The Rotten Truth, Mr. Jason Soto, is no longer part of the show. Trust me, there's no bad blood between us. Everything's fine. Jason just told me that he has a lot on his plate and he can no longer do this episode, which made sense because the cat has a podcast network and he hosts many different shows and he's writing books and all that good stuff. So in his place, I have with me a good buddy, definitely one of my favorite co-hosts over on my other podcast, Cinema Recall. I have Mr. Donnie Roberts. Hello, Donnie.
The part of Jason Soto will now be played by Donnie Roberts.
Yeah. Welcome. This is so cool. Welcome to The Rotten Truth.
Welcome. Glad to be here. Love this. I am really looking forward to a whole lot of 30% and less movies.
Yes, that's the idea of The Rotten Truth. We're looking at movies from Rotten Tomatoes that gotten like a low score. But you know who's not rotten, Donnie? Mm-hmm. The wonderful Patreon members. That's right. Patreon members from the Rabbit Hole Podcast team, patreon.com/rabbitholepods. Go there. You can find episodes early, like this one right here, and it helps us out very much. So check that out. Very cool. Now that I got that out of the way, today's episode, we are going to be covering Gus Van Sant's remake of Psycho. And I'm just going to play for you right now a quick trailer from that.
On December 4th,
a boy's best friend is his mother.
Discover the world of Norman Bates.
She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Psycho, rated R. Starts Friday.
All right, so Psycho came out in 1998. Based on Alfred Hitchcock's original Psycho. Before we get into the new Psycho, what's your history with Psycho?
Oh, man. Thankfully, I had grown up with a father who loved movies, and literally there was not one movie he would mention where it wouldn't end with, if you told him you haven't seen it, he immediately would declare, oh, it's a classic. And especially when it came to Hitchcock, he loved Hitchcock films. And I grew up having to watch a lot of those. And there are several of his I really love, like in a way that I would feel very angry and murderous if they decided to remake. And this was one of those I loved. I went to the Universal tour when they had the house set up and all that. You could see, hey, this is where we filmed this movie. And it's like, oh, that's neat. Then it burned down. But I love this. I love this movie. Not this remake, but I do love Hitchcock films. And Psycho was one of the earlier ones I remember watching with my dad. So it's got a special place with me.
See, I went on that Universal Studios tour, and I know about Norman Bates. And I know I talked about this before on the episode that we recorded with Becca from the Do You Expect Us to Talk podcast on Cinema Recall. And I mentioned on there that I know of Norman Bates, but I've never really seen Psycho until like the night, like 95 or so is when I first saw Psycho all the way through. And
wow.
I had really no idea about the whole story of Marion Crane stealing money and getting away and everything like that there too. I just really thought it was a slasher film because Psycho 2 and Psycho 3 always played on TV. So I kind of knew the character of Norman Bates from that. And so watching it for the first time, it was very different for me to see that. Like I said, big Hitchcock fan. When I heard that they were remaking this, I was a little bit hesitant. And then I saw who was going to direct it. And I was like, that's fascinating. And I want to talk a little briefly here about Gus Van Sant, the director of this, because before this movie, he made some critically acclaimed films like Drugstore Cowboy, My Own Private Idaho, To Die For, and Good Will Hunting, which got a lot of like critical praise. Because that was the movie he made before Psycho, was Good Will Hunting. Got awards for both Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, awards for Robin Williams. And so he had basically the world on his shoulder, and he can do whatever he wants. And I find it absolutely fascinating that he decides to remake Psycho, a classic.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know if you agree or disagree with me on that one. It's kind of a punk rock thing to do for a major studio to release this version of it, though, which is almost like Andy Warhol style of movie making.
Yeah, I mean, I have a love-hate with this film, and I remembered seeing it way back when it came out. And when you told me we were gonna be watching this for the show, I'm like, I can't remember a single thing about it. So like going back to it, it's like all of a sudden all of my do's and don'ts and hate and love started coming back for this thing, because it's not really a remake. It's not really even a retelling. It's just like he wanted to do. It is a passion project, and it's a shot-for-shot remake with some slight updates, but it's still like nearly the exact same movie. It just suffers from what most Hollywood directors have, which is passion projects, because very, very rarely do those actually end up going well for them. And it seems like a sad history that every time the directors are like, yes, I'm at my peak, they're going to let me do whatever I want, this is the time to do it, that's when you lose that power.
It's like an art school project. It's something that you would see a first-time director doing. It's weird that you have this award-winning director doing this, and then afterwards, he never made an IP movie again, because after this, he did Finding Forrester, and then Gary, and then Elephant, which won him the Palme d'Or at Cannes. And he really hasn't done much in the studio system since this movie, really.
Yeah. And that's really, that's really sad, because they have a lot of talent. But this just reminds me so much of another director, Michael Cimino. And same with him. He had a very promising career, and they gave him so much money to do whatever he wanted, because like, how could you fail? You're amazing at this. And then he went and made a movie called Heaven's Gate. And that film just, but you had all the pieces. You had a good cast. You had Chris Christopherson, Christopher Walken, and John Hurt, and this thing sucked peanuts out of shit. It was so bad, and nobody liked it. Everybody hated him for this movie, but it was his big thing. He's like, I have to do this. I must make this film.
Just
like,
had
that was
to
the
get
man
out
who
there.
made The Deer Hunter, for crying out loud, and he went
Yeah.
from that to this.
That's great. There is a quote from Slash Film that I wanted to read real quickly regarding the remake here. It says, "The sheer audacity of Van Sant's project is worthy of applause. The filmmaker found a way to make a major studio bankroll a star-studded art project. The thought of any major studio taking such a risk now, when most studios are more concerned with certain unimaginative cinematic universes, seem almost unthinkable. It's an important scheme," Van Sant also added. "Why does a studio ever remake a film? Because they have this little thing they've forgotten about that could put in the masterpiece and make money." And that was from Slash Film article on there. I don't know, give your thoughts on that.
I mean, again, this is part of the love-hate. It's like, they absolutely are right. Just the sheer audacity to just say that you're going to remake Psycho. It's like that puts automatically this expectation of, you better blow this the fuck out of the water, but then to be just hold yourself back to the point that from what I remember, he said famously that he wanted that film, every shot recreated, every mistake in the film that wasn't even supposed to be in there, he wanted recreated. He wanted everything to be just colorized, same versions of, so that when you see this, you're expecting it to be something more grisly, something more adept, something different, but you got almost the exact same thing, an exact same playthrough, that it does throw you for a loop. And he, bless his heart, he swung for the fences. It's very hard for a director to actually do that and stick to that, but even more so for them to land it. So I don't even know if he expected this thing to become a classic. He just did it because I think there's even a quote. He said, "I did this so that nobody else has to."
That's
it's
fair.
Kind of like, if that's what you want to do, man, hey, that good on you, but still, why?
I think it's fascinating too because Hitchcock shot the original in black and white to go past the censors, and it was cheaper to film in black and white because they used this TV crew from the Alfred Hitchcock Presents show. Now, for the remake, Gus Van Sant brings in cinematographer Christopher Doyle, who is well known for shooting In the Mood for Love for Wong Kar-wai, and he's just a beautiful cinematographer. And the way the film looks in color is unique, in my opinion. There's some really kind of straightened shots that are there. I gotta give a shout out to the costume designer, Beatrice Pastor, who makes all the clothes look like they're from the 60s.
Yeah.
And yet the film takes place in the 90s. And you have the original screenplay from Joseph Stefano, and none of the dialogue is changed. So all the slang words that they use in the 60s are now in the 90s. So it kind of puts it in like this weird alternate universe type of thing.
It does add a cool feel, which again, I can't deny. There's things like that I love in this. And even using the old style green screen when she's driving in her car.
Yeah.
And such like that. It's just seeing things like that. It's really cool and it's really neat. But in the same vein, when you have the detective falling backwards down the stairs, it's one of those, when you see it in the original, it's cool. It was a neat idea. Seeing somebody redo it again almost perfectly, it's kind of like, well, hey, good for you. That's very nice. We'll put a picture up on the fridge and we'll put it there for everyone to see.
Yeah.
But it's just, no. It's like in modern day, it just doesn't hit as well.
We gave you your participation trophy for that one, Gus, all right? So appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's also a great element of sound design in this new version, which I appreciate. Like the beginning tracking shot where the camera like pulls into the hotel and you're hearing the background of other tenants at this hotel, I thought was great. The sequences where Marianne is driving and she's hearing the voices in her head, it's got that vocal stereo effect. Even the store, the Bernard Herrmann store, that famous store that was adapted, believe from Danny Elfman, has that nice little stereo aspect to it, though we can hear things in both speakers. And I always consider this film from Van Sant to be an homage and a tribute to Psycho to Alfred Hitchcock, because he really does respect the man. This never was meant to me to be like a cash grab. It was more just like, hey, can we take a movie and script with the same directions, make it with modern technologies, would still be the same movie? Oh, I'm not quite sure. I do have like a small little clip of Gus Van Sant talking about Psycho that I'm going to play real quickly, okay?
Mm-hmm. I told Danny Elfman that I'm thinking about remaking Psycho, and he said, they will kill you. Back then in the mid-90s, the movie business wanted more and more profits, and the best way to kind of get the audience in as a group was to maybe make a film about something that they all already knew about, like the Flintstones.
Wilma, I'm home!
It sort of angered me that the business had been going in that direction without maybe doing it in a different fashion, because they're going to show you the Brady Bunch, but they're going to just leave the real Brady Bunch behind. So I was in a meeting with Casey Silver at Universal. I suggested that rather than make remakes or continuations of stories, that they actually use the film as a template and shoot it exactly as it was shot. Just leave the contribution of not just the story, but the screenwriter and the director as well, and the cinematographer. Keep those elements in there, which sounded crazy to them.
You don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about. Why, thank you. It's all right.
It wasn't until after Good Will Hunting that that same idea, when pitched to Casey Silver, who thought I was crazy, all of a sudden that idea had merit. You know, they thought it was a great idea because Good Will Hunting was making money. So they thought, Van Sant can make money, let him do Psycho. And then it didn't make money. But if it wasn't successful, it would have gotten the studios busy remaking frame by frame other movies, which might have been a nightmare.
I was just going to say that had you succeeded, I'm afraid of what the outcome would have been.
Yeah, it might have been horrible, yeah.
We got to take a short break, but Cinema Recall will be right back after these ad spots.
Hello, do you like films?
Of course you do. Who doesn't like films?
Yes, but do you ever wonder what your favourite or least favourite films would be like if you could change the cast? Well, that's exactly what we do on the Cast a Roll podcast.
Cast a Roll is a movie comedy podcast
where three friends with quite often very different opinions take some of cinema's best loved films, as well as some of the stinkers,
and serve you up a delicious portion of movie trivia
before stirring in our very own cast choices, for better or quite often for worse. So if you're curious to know who we chose John Candy and Nathan Fillion to play in Ghostbusters,
or what Jurassic Park would have been like with Michael Cera and Michael Caine,
then join us for an all-you-can-eat movie buffet for your ears. It's Cast a Roll. Available everywhere you get your podcasts.
We've spared, no expense.
Get access to episodes early, uncut video footage, and bonus shows by becoming a Patreon member. Go to patreon.com/cinemarecallpod. And for just $3 a month, you will help support our independent podcast. Thank you so much. And now, back to the show.
Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that sneak peek of The Rotten Truth, talking about the 98 remake of Psycho. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the new season with Donnie Roberts. Please check out the full season over at rabbitholepodcast.com, and check out the past episodes that I recorded with Jason Soto on other movies. So, a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. As for Cinema Recall, I know that we have not been recording episodes lately. That's hopefully going to change soon. I'm starting a whole new series on Cinema Recall, talking about the films of Sean Baker, the Academy Award winner of Anora. He also did The Florida Project, Takeout, Red Rocket, and it's going to be a lot of fun bringing in guests to talk about different Sean Baker projects. I'm calling it Sean Baker September. I'm also going to be re-releasing episodes of the Andy Sedaris September that I recorded. That's going to be coming on to our YouTube channel, as well as here, making some tweets and edit them up there. So you're going to get both Sean Baker and Andy Sedaris in September. I know that I plan on doing episodes talking about another David Cronenberg film for our David Cronenberg Chronicles series, and I believe I'm doing something for Bubbleweed and his podcast, talking about the film Fantasia, at least one section of Fantasia, with guest Becca from Do You Expect Us to Talk. Also, be sure to check out Becca and I's conversation on Alfred Hitchcock's original Psycho. I will post links to that show in the show notes as well. I believe our episode on the David Cronenberg film The Shrodes is going to be with David Rosen of Piecing It Together. I'm also going to be a guest spot person on the franchise Detours with Robert Giannis Jr. talking about Supergirl. And that episode should be available over at Crooked Table Media, I believe, later on in August, so be sure to look out for that. I'm also going to be a guest on Jason Soto's podcast, That's the Bomb Yo, Hella Rad Movies of the 90s, talking about the film Twister with Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt, Philip Seymour Hoffman, people chasing tornadoes, good shit. That episode will be available over at rabbitholepodcast.com sometime this week or next week. Whole bunch of other things coming up there. Right now, I want to give a quick shout out to all of our wonderful Patreon members. Again, patreon.com/Cinema Recall Pod. No special order here. I gotta thank Jeanette Miller over on Twitter at AKA Jeanette. Thank you very much. Jen McQuaid from Shot and Applaud. Thank you very much, Jen. Jason Soto of Rabbit Hole Podcast, where you can find The Rotten Truth and other great shows. Thank you, Jason. Christian Hurst, the author of the book Lily Starlin and the Voyage of the Salamander. Steve W. Steve, you don't have a website, but thank you very much, Steve. Matt and Ashley of Mashley at the Movies. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Donnie Roberts, who is the co-host of The Rotten Truth. Thank you very much, Donnie. And last, Linda Castro of Bed Knobs and Broomflits. Thank you very much. If you want to be like these amazing people, please head on over to our Patreon page. Again, patreon.com/Cinema Recall Pod. And I believe for just $3 a month, you get access to episodes early. And you get some fun bonus content on there as well. Thank you all very much. And I hope you all have a great day. And I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.